Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the LFM Pro Series. My name is Olaf, aka Wops Racing, and I'll be your commentator for tonight as we're approaching the halfway mark of the season. Currently round 5 out of 12, and we're heading off to Barcelona. The circuit you can see on the screen right now, turns 1 and 2 right in your view. The drivers are just finishing up the practice. I'm going to be heading into the qualifying format shortly, but before we do, I'm going to take a quick flashback to last week out in Spa. We had 2 races, a sprint race and a feature race. Gasquel and Caracas won those respectively. Caracas here to be seen in P1, Santama in second, Del Fante taking the final step of the podium and hauling in all the points. So the Spa race finished last week. This week got the same format, so we have 2 races, a 20-minute race followed by a 40-minute event. This is up to P30. We've seen all the drivers across the line. It's nice to also take a quick look at the standings for this week. We have Caracas out in first. Small lead, 41 points over Boothby in second place. Gaskell, his teammate, right behind in third. We've got a good battle for third place, that is. Gaskell, Sullivan, and Delphante quite close to each other. And there's a few more bigger gaps behind. Minar is still in the fight. Delphante seems to be... Oh, he's in the middle of the fight. Fodge is a little bit further behind that. And then we have Flag, Santama, and Wasner behind that, finishing out the top 10. So these are all the cars that we have that have participated. You can see the amount of weeks that have been counted for them. And we have the amount of races for that as well. Should be double. If not, that means that someone has dropped out in one or maybe more races. But this all doesn't matter too much if there's not anything on the line. So for this series, of course, we have some prizes on the line. You can see on the screen right now, P1, 2,500 euros in cash, as sponsored by Fanatec. Second place, an FGT Pro bundle from Next Level Racing. And third place gets 1,000 euros in cash. And how long do we have to fight for this? I'll show you right now. Like I said, we're approaching the halfway mark of the season. Currently round 5, Barcelona, August 7th. Another 20 into 40 minute race with a reverse grid for the second race. Top 15 will be reversed. And then we're heading all the way down to Spielberg next week. And all the way to Suzuka in round 11. And then Nordschleife in round 12. September 25th, mark your calendars. This is going to be a 90-minute race. And guess what? I will be there too. I'm scheduled to be on the broadcast for the 25th of September. So make sure that you're there. So without further ado, let's get right into the qualifying session. This is where we're at right now. A few minutes have passed already. No one has set a lap time just yet. So that means we're going to have to wait until the first driver gets their lap done. It looks to be Gaskell, currently rounding out that second sector, approaching turn 10, the sharp left-hander. Of course, reworked for the Formula 1 schedule, but not for ours. We still have this beautiful, beautiful hairpin. Big moves are going to be made here. Be aware of that during the race. Lots of sends in this big braking zone. Same goes for turn 1. Very conventional braking areas here. As you can see, it's 7:15 p.m. The sun's just going to get lower and lower, so we're going to get these very nice shots from the cars in this golden hour. There we go. It's very difficult to see the cars at all, but we might see some very nice screenshots of this after the race. Sam Gaskell, first one over the line, and that's a 1:42.777. That's a provisional pole, instantly taken away by Delphante, currently locking in with a 1:42.680, and Gaskell dropping down the order as more lap times are trickling in. O'Sullivan, fourth place, trying to chase down that podium place for the prizes that we just saw, and he does that very well. That is a 1:42.5, currently on the top of the standings. The leaderboard doesn't show it properly. Let me see if I can get that up there. There we go. B1 for O'Sullivan, 1:42.567. Top 10 currently within a second, so that's all very nice and handy. Always good to see. These close gaps in qualifying always make it a lot more fun and interesting to watch. Number 20 car, Tim Flagg, currently 8th in the standings. Does have some points to go in order to catch Fodge in P7. He's the last to go out of the pit lane and get a lap time on the board. Crossing the final corner now over the line. See what he brings in, a 1:44.412, and that's P24. That's not where he wants to be for all of this. In the meantime, we have some more improvements from Delphante. Took P1 momentarily until O'Sullivan crossed the line, stole it away, is now on a banger lap. That's a mega improvement. Had about 3/10 until he lost it in that chicane. Gaskell just over the line. Got the place. Boothby as well. Delphante jumps up to second place back again. That is not where he wanted to be. He wanted to be out in first. And Boothby currently holding that to his name. A 1:42.487. That is quite nice. That is quite a good lap. Further down the order, some more cars making their way through. For the second running, I'm going to try and see if I can go on board, go one full lap, so you as well can see all the turns from the driver's view. And Bellic, currently in 12th, 1:43.4, is on his way to get inside of the top 10 with this lap. The final chicane, of course, also removed for the Formula 1 calendar, but we still get to enjoy this nasty bit of track. No one enjoys it, no one likes it, everyone loses their lap times here. Following through this is always quite the hassle. The little sausage, or massive sausage, the baguette on the back exit of that chicane. Only losing a 10th, Bellic jumps up to P10 and quite close to P9. It's only 7 thousandths of a second as there's more drivers peeling into the pits. So we're approaching the halfway mark of qualifying. Boothby, still on that purple, is holding on to it. Delphante equal with his previous. Right behind him on the track. That was Gaskell coming through. This is Boothby. We see Delphante a little bit further back. And it appears that I may have lost connection to the server. I'm going to try and see if I can get this back. Yep, I might have just lost connection to the server. It's a small technical difficulty. Nothing that we cannot fix. So yeah, just hold on tight. I'm going to see if anything is coming from the host. It's trying to leave and rejoin the server. That usually works. It should work just swimmingly. All right, cool. I'll try and reconnect, see if I still have the data or not. It appears that I currently don't have the timing table. And I have it now. There it is. We're back. Apologies for the inconvenience, for the delay. Caracas puts it up to 4th place. That's a good lap time as well on his end. Currently our championship leader. A 1:42.525. That is looking quite spicy. Boothby is again on purple. Everyone's gone back out on the track. Gaskell should be right ahead of him. Also, these laps are indicating they're on the same lap time, but they're definitely not. That's just because I joined back, so my telemetry is going to be a little bit off until we hit the timing line once again for the start-finish line. Gonna go on board with Gaskell, see if he can do one more lap after this one. Should have time to do so. Currently P6, crossing the line. He's gonna park it to the side. That's what I thought. They're gonna go in for their second run. A few more drivers opting to do so. Everyone that crossed the line is now gonna go back. Line is still on the lap though. Crossing turn 9 now. The fast right-hander. Gains a little bit of time off the exit, but then goes off to the grass. In the end, doesn't improve. So lots of drivers into the pits now. Getting their second set of tires on. Refueling. Getting ready to attack the track. Like we said, evening times. So we have 7:21 p.m. at the moment. 28 degrees in the air, 28 degrees on the track. Quite warm. But then again, it is Spain. They are having some sort of heat wave at the moment. So it is slightly cooler than it is actually in the country. Track conditions optimum. Sun fully out, as we can see, blinding us and blinding the drivers. We'll see that on the onboard lap. We're going to do in just a moment. And try and see where Mr. Boothby is currently in sector 2. Just going to wait for him to cross the line, and we'll be on board with... Should we go with Boothby or should we go on board with Caracas? He's currently a championship leader. Should probably have the screen time. He's right in front of us. Should probably see him when we cross the corner. There he is. Caracas, the number 3 car, Delphante. Man we're on board with right now. Going to be right behind, so we're going to go on board with Caracas. You can see how little the drivers can actually see once they cross the line. Backing up to leave the right amount of space. You can see the top 6 is all Fords. So it is a Ford Fiesta still in the Pro Series. That doesn't take away from the competition. Caracas now starting his lap to try and get that pole position. Currently, as you can see, just over a 10th down on Boothby, running in the shade of the start-finish straight. All the curb on the left-hand side. A little bit on the right hand, all the way actually, over the sausages. Big bounce into turn 2. A lift. And once you see the boards, the Pirelli boards, slam it all the way down. Hold it all the way through turn 3. Again, so much room that you can take on the left-hand side as the track limits are located at the end of the red and white curbs. So you can go all the way over to the left and right-hand side of the track. Don't want to do that here though. There's some grass. You can touch the tarmac, but the grass will definitely harm your car. As you can see here, Caracas expertly taking the outside. And here, being a little bit more conservative. Turn 7 and 8, always a difficult combination. Turn 9, a fast one. A little bit too late with your throttle, and you'll be coming up short a little bit too early, and you're being washed out wide. Perfect display here from Caracas. Deep braking into turn 10. This is where we can see some overtakes happen as well. Might see some switchback back here for turn 11 and 12. As we're heading on to the chicanes, where we should not see any overtakes unless someone's very daring out of the end of turn 12. So there's a 13 heading into 14 now. And Caracas seems to have backed out a little bit as he did not have the space. He's going to try for one more. I don't think that this is going to be a proper timed lap. And we'll see in just a second once he crosses the line. He does have Gasquel behind him. And that was a 143.7, so it's over a second off. And Gasquel is going to be not happy with that one. So we'll see what's going to happen with these guys once they are further through. Koselberg on P8. As it stands, the gaps are all quite close. So it does improve. Not enough for a position. Makes him a little bit safer out there. But not enough for anyone attacking behind. Not enough for anyone standing out in front. Trying to see which one of these drivers are going on a fast lap. McVeigh currently in 20th. The gaps back here also not too big. There's a lot of drivers within a second once you count down from the top 10, as you can see. McVeigh here in 20th. It's quite close to P19. Koida in that position. So half a tenth will do it. He doesn't do it. He does improve, but not by too much. Did he improve? He did not improve. That is a weird thing on the... Oh, he did improve, actually. Whoops, I was looking at the wrong car. He did improve a little bit, but not too much. Not enough for a position. Humble now. Darting along that line of improvement as well. Does get up a tiny bit as well. So it doesn't look like the track is improving that much for drivers to be on a very, very fast lap. The one that is at the moment, Boothby, is holding P1 by less than a tenth. So he should be trying to improve. Does have a car right in front of him. It's number 3 of Caracas. So Boothby crossing the line now. That was not an improvement. So that means he'll go once more. But he does have the championship leader right in front of him on the track. And the rules are, if you don't have the space on qualifying, it is your fault. You got to leave enough gap out in front to be able to drive your lap completely without catching up to the car ahead. And if you do catch someone, then that is entirely your fault for not having enough space. If someone catches you, you're not obligated to go out of the way. You're just driving your laps. You should hold on to it as long as you can. Checkered flag is out, so anyone crossing the line now is not able to finish their laps. If not able to start a new lap, they are able to finish, of course. That would be very, very harsh. So they're going to finish their laps. Get back into the pits. And Alexander now almost on an improvement as well. Currently in 16th place. But the Audi might be up a little bit. It doesn't have too much space to go to get improvement on position, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't get a faster lap than he did before. Boothby is currently, again, also on that edge of improving and not improving. Every single time it's so close. His current lap time is just flashing purple and then back to white again. Gonna take a quick look at Minar, who's a few corners ahead, currently on the final one, onto the straight. P5 for the number 5 car. Can he get an improvement in? He can, but it's still not enough. It's quite close, but it's not enough. Boothby along the lines, across the line, and doesn't set an improvement either. Now it's all on to O'Sullivan. The only driver currently in the top 10, still on a lap, and the only driver able to snatch away that provisional pole position, currently held by George Boothby. A 1:42.382. Half a tenth is all that O'Sullivan needs. Final corner, wide on the exit, across the line, and it is just not enough. 2,000 slower than his previous fastest lap, and it's just not enough. Your pole position goes to George Boothby. So we're waiting a tiny bit for the last drivers to cross the line, and then we are on to our qualifying grid. Boothby out in front, O'Sullivan in second place. Let's see if we can catch the grid, see if it's already updated or not. That should usually take some time, but this is George Boothby in first place. Pole position for the man in the Ford. Second place, another man in the Ford. It's Shea O'Sullivan. Second place for the number 6 car. Delphante in third place. Have Caracas, our championship leader, lining up alongside in fourth. Minar holding on fifth place. Line number 3. Gasquel lining up alongside our champion from last year. He's going to have to make some inroads if he wants to get that championship back-to-back. Santama in 7th place. Keuselberg, P8. Now we're going to get some different cars on the screen. Lots of Fords. Well, there you have it. Foch in another Ford. You can see the old Aston Martin, the old Ferrari coming through. Here once more another Aston Martin. Jack Humble in P10. P11 for Bellic. Van Rossum going on P12, the Ferrari. Sav, P13. Carabot, P14. Holding on to row number 7 to row number 8. Vrij, P15, the number 9 car. Kniva in 16th. The next driver, sincerely apologize. I'm unable to pronounce your last name, so we'll call you Alexander in 17th place. I'll have a call with you quite soon to be able to get me to pronounce your name properly. Ordes in 18th place. Lindblom holds on to 19th. Saverio in 20th. Aston Martin rounding out the top 20. And these are the drivers, Gaida being one of them, that are fighting for that P15, that reverse grid pole. And McVeigh in the McLaren will be looking for that one as well. Line in a Ford should have some good looks at this as well. Kiesling, P24. Perez, P25. Flag is currently in P8 in the standings. 26th on the grid. Hopefully he can make a recovery from that one. Wolschlager, 27th. Hageman in 28th. Approaching the final row of the grid, we have Tepper in 29th. And finally, we have Hoffman, number 30, in car number 30. And that is the grid for today's first event. So there's a 20-minute race. It's got one full formation lap that we'll see. Right now, first car should be going as Boothby was, there we go. A little bit of a stationary moment there for the number 1 car and our pole sitter for today. And they'll be fighting for the victory. The winner will be starting on P15 for race number 2. The driver finishing on P15 will be starting in P1. But the driver in 15th, Michael Fay, has just returned back to the pits. So he's going to be starting from the pit lane. Might just have the wrong thing ready or just didn't want to start within all the midfield battles and decided he had a better chance to go down into the pits. So Kniva will inherit that 15th place. It's the number 9 car. Will have to make inroads from the back of the grid. It's a pit lane start. Obviously going to be some time before we head on and see where he can drive his car. In terms of the competition, Sector 1 completed. Everyone getting ready to heat up the tires. Get the energy in the brakes as well. You can see the car manufacturers on the left-hand side of the screen. Lots of Fords being placed here. You see Frey in the Porsche toppling down the order. And here we have the odd McLaren, Audi, Honda, BMW even in 11th place. That's an odd one to see out here. Astons, Ferraris as well. Those are the ones that we will be looking at. The Boothby is going to be leading the grid. O'Sullivan right next to him as P2 and P4 in the standings. For now, Boothby needs 41 points on Caracas, which as it stands, I think should be doable with these finishing positions. If it stays like this, of course. So this is a fight for the championship lead. Remember, round 5. So we've only had 1/3 of the competition done. And we have 7 more weeks after this race before we get the final standings and crown our champion. We might crown it a little bit earlier, depending on the amount of points being scored, of course. They're very far ahead. They might just claim the championship a few rounds early. Usually happens in the final 2 races, final 2 weeks. But Boothby has got his chance, his eyes set on the lead. Remember, 20-minute race is less points than a 40-minute race. So this win is not everything that matters. It's the second race where all the drivers have to shine, where the P1 has to fight back up from P15. That is one monumental task. But it's happened time and time again. So we're approaching the start-finish line. We're getting ready for green at Barcelona. The drivers are lining up, 30 piece, and we're off. Green at Barcelona. Boothby away quite well. O'Sullivan still alongside. Of course, it's a long run. See some shuffling to the inside, a little bit further back, trying to cover off. Some wiggling, and that is, I believe, another Ford trying to make a little wiggle. O'Sullivan around the outside, tries to have a look, holding in alongside, but doesn't get it completely. Caracas, though, does hold on a tiny bit, has a Minar right behind him, and everyone slotting in. Gaskell in 6th as well. Nothing too crazy out in the top 10. It's all line and file as Bellic is currently side by side with Foch. Going to be sending it up the inside to claim P10. Foch dropping down 1 place. He's going to look to maybe reclaim that one for the next turn, as it's a left-hander. He can break a little bit later, possibly. Following Humble through, they're currently still side by side. Foch has got the inside line for turn 7. That's a difficult one to overtake around the outside, so we'll keep that place. And Bellic will have to back out of this one, as everyone is fitting into a little snake. Alexander getting past Kniva as well. Was being sending on the inside by Lindblom. So he's lost 2 places in just a few turns. Looking to lose a little bit more as some more drivers are coming on through. Trying to send it back up the inside. Lindblom on the outside line. We saw some looks from Guida and Silverio as well. Silverio in the pink car there. But he does get it back. Kniva up to P16 back again. We see a flag getting being slow in that second sector. Yeah, a white flag. See if we can spot what happened there. It's currently in the number 20 car. Don't have a replay for that one, but we might have a replay of something else quite soon. Actually, I do have a replay for this one. Let's just take a quick look at what happened here. See if we can see what happened here. This is Tim Flag. Currently dropped down the order to P28. Little look. It's the yellow car. Currently on the inside. There we have it. Small tap from the rear. That is lap 1 kind of destroyed. So he's gone all the way down to P28. Kiesling is already in the pits. Vrij is making his way through. You can see that the number 9 car currently going through the first sector. You can see the minimap on the right hand side of your screen. Making it through turn 3, and the top 5 are still standing quite the same. The top 6 actually are all the same. Then we have Keuselberg gaining a position and Humbo gaining 2 places. So we should have more and more information currently on the screen, as we do have some gaps that are actually noticeable. So we're going to have to wait a few seconds. It should be all there. There we go. All the red numbers are the cars within a second. All the orange numbers are the cars that are driving closely and looking for a fight. One of those, McVeigh, on the inside, trying to get the position back from line. Who has just gained another place. He's up 3 from the start. It's quite impressive already. I'm going to be looking to gain more, as he's going to be having Silverio ahead of him. But not before McVeigh is going to make his life a little bit difficult. Looking for something. Down at the back straight now. Boothby still in first place. O'Sullivan trying to catch that slipstream. Boothby wiggling. Choosing to go towards the outside. O'Sullivan with a big slipstream. Going to break later into turn 1. Send his nose in. That is almost side by side, with Boothby covering it off quite nicely. Holding on to the outside line. O'Sullivan nowhere to go, but maybe trying something into turn 4. If he can have the better line here. Maybe a setup for a lunge in the first turn of the second sector. Doesn't go for it, as it's just too far away and everyone's slotting in, as you can see. All the way down to... all the way down, I should say, to Bellic, currently in 11th. Top 10 all within a second of each other. Top 6 as they were, but it's still quite close. After the first 2 laps. Currently lap 3. Halfway through. Fastest lap in the hands of O'Sullivan, a 1:42.792. He set that on the previous lap. Same goes for Boothby and Del Fonte. Of course, first lap is a little bit slowed down by the fact that it's a rolling start. So we should have the faster lap times trickling in now as they're heating up the tires properly, heating up the brakes properly, getting those battles in. Boothby still being put under pressure. Everyone in the top 6 within a second, which is quite close. Currently looking at Van Rossum in 13th place, chasing down Ryan Carabot in 12th. And this is quite close. This should be a good look into the inside of turn 1. That's a slipstream. Carabot has got a gap ahead, so doesn't have any slipstream for himself to do anything. And Van Rossum looking towards the inside, getting squeezed a little bit. And does end up getting the full inside line. A little bit of contact there. Carabot being sent wide, goes over the curbs. Almost loses control of the car. Is still a little bit ahead. Rejoins the track. It's going to be alongside. And there's going to be take number 2 for Van Rossum. I see Sav on the inside as well, having a little look. And Carabot not happy with this. Probably thinks the position is his, as he didn't let Van Rossum go. Does have to stick behind now. The Ferrari on the defense into turn 5. And we do have a solution to it. Van Rossum taking away P12. Back to his starting position. now has about 4 seconds ahead. About 5 seconds, actually, to make up for. Oh, it is back to 4 seconds to make up for in order to catch Bellic. In P11, we just see him on the bottom of the screen in the black and yellow BMW. It's a big train behind it. That's Sav. Having a little look. That's not Sav. That is Lindblom being tapped. More contact in the back. These are the guys that we saw fight before as well. Made some more contact into turn 10. And Silverio ahead of Kniva. Lindblom 16th place. So they'll start being a bit hectic. But it does look like things are settling down. Del Fonte now catching that fastest lap, but instantly being taken back by Caracas. Just a little bit quicker. And he is looking for something maybe. Currently front runners into turn 3. Grid is spreading out a bit more. Vrij has not caught up with the back of the field just yet. Is running lap times comparable to, well, comparable to the top 10. He started in 15th place. Everyone else is still in battles, of course, so it's not going to be as quick as it were in the open air of qualifying. So we're still looking through, trying to see who can get an overtake. Humble now. It's got Koselberg ahead of him. Still a little bit further. They're going on towards turn 10. The hairpin is going to send it. He's going to stay behind for now. Does have 2 cars behind him, Fonch and Santama. Have to wait and see if he gets an opportunity somewhere on the next lap. Through the final chicane, we can see the front runners, how close they are. Both be a little bit of a better exit than O'Sullivan. Men are now having a gap as well, as everyone's just putting in quicker and quicker laps. Humble not close enough to make a send just yet. So we're looking on to the front guys. That is O'Sullivan having a small little look on the inside before tucking back into the slipstream and ultimately backing out. Choosing against it. We do have Gasquel now behind Minnaar, who's dropping back. We can see that little duo a little bit further back. There they are. And Gasquel now looking to his teammate ahead, telling him to hurry up a tiny bit, or else he's going to get the overtake. Get the position all for himself. Top 6 still as they were. These guys have been following each other all the while. The rest behind have been battling, and there's been some incidents. The stewards will have a look at that. We'll see who gets penalized for what, or if the stewards decided it was just racing, clean, hard racing. They're gonna let it all go. No sense into turn 10 for now. And these guys are just running as if they're doing their own race. You can see all the way up to P10. Everyone within a second, within a few seconds. And then P11, Bellic running his own race in the number 18 car. See the snake, that is the front runners, go through the final chicane. We've crossed the halfway mark already. 9.5 minutes remain. 6 laps are done. The fastest still in the hands of O'Sullivan. They've been traded back and forth a tiny bit, but it's still O'Sullivan that holds it. Bit further back, Silverio almost having a look there into turn 1. Signing against it as he falls down through turn 2 and 3. Thought there was a gap for a move. In the end, the number 13 Ferrari still holding on to it. Line now in the battle once more with Kniva and McVeigh. Fight for 19th place. The important one, of course, is turn position 15. That's the one currently in the hands of Alexander, the number 19 car. And behind him we have Lindblom, who's not really too much into fighting ahead. There we have the little streak of cars. And Alexander being the one to lead this. They've got about 2 seconds ahead to Sav. The monster car is in the hands of Alexander. That's the car that's going to be starting from pole position if it stays like this. That's going to be for race 2. And remember, that's a massive advantage if you can start from the front row of the grid. If you get absolutely slammed into turn 1, take away the lead. Boothby did. Grabbing the brakes at just the right moment. And then holding on to that P1. Claiming it all the way through. It's a bit of a gap now between Caracas and Minar. And Gasquel hasn't really made too much effort yet to get past his teammate. This might be team orders. Or it might just be Gasquel knowing. It's a short race. We have some guys behind. Don't want to lose any more positions, any more points for the championship. Caracas thinking, I might want to get some points out of this, as his championship lead is in jeopardy at the moment. Minar not really doing too much to catch up to the front guys. Maybe he is just under a lot of pressure from Gasquel. It's just these two that are on a fight. And we are approaching turn number 10. The hairpin. Maybe there's something in it for Gasquel. Approaching the braking zone. Does brake a bit later, as it appears. He's not close enough to do anything on the exit either. That's still P5 for Minar, holding on. 6 minutes remaining. About 3-4 more laps. And Boothby a little bit over the line on the exit. Some more drivers having those issues. No drive-thrus being handed out just yet, though. They're all still within those 4 limits. You've got 3 track limit warnings that you can get. When you hit the 4th one, you'll be sentenced to a drive-through penalty in the pits. Vrij now in 29th has finally caught up to the back of the grid. Will now look to take a position off of Burez. Into turn 1, Perez on the outside. Vrij goes for a deep send and is already passed before they even hit turn 2. That's P28. He can now start his climb, because the position that he finishes in is the position that he'll be starting in unless he reaches the top 15 in the next 5 minutes, which is doable, but you have to be really fast in order to do so. And the guys fighting for that position, of course, are still doing just that. 4 cars now looking for that place. Lindblom in the black and red car just ahead. And these 4 we are watching, we're spectating, we're looking to see if they can do something. Because Lindblom, as it stands, will be starting in 16th, but Alexander will be starting in 1st. If they finish this race, if they cross the line in this formation. Quite a big gap up to Sav. Should be safe for that 2nd place. Here's the small little look there from Lindblom. Does have the outside line for the chicane. Tucks his nose in, has the space. Small tap to the outside. That's Alexander being pushed wide and Lindblom going through. This looks like a double move here, as Guida is also in it. Silverio has got to look for himself towards the inside. Alexander, of course, with the worst exit. But that is going to be 3 wide. Surely not. Silverio holds it in the middle. Onto turn 1. See who breaks the latest. That's Alexander going very deep, getting a small tap to the side. Silverio getting hit as well. Both going through, both going off. That's Guida going on through. Silverio and Alexander both off the track. So Guida going through, Kniva, McVeigh and Line all going through. And Silverio looking to make the best of it. Trying to stick around the outside here. That is not where you want to be. Small error from the drivers. Cause contact. That's off the line. Speed 15 now in the hands of Guida. As Sav has jumped up to 13th. Something must have happened to a driver further up as well, because Sav was just holding in P14. Unsure which one of the drivers that was. But we should have some more battles a little bit further ahead. Karabot trying to get a position back from Van Rossum. Saw this battle the other way around a few laps earlier. And Sav now has decided to join this as well. A little bit squirrely on the end there for Karabot. Should be having a little look behind him, see where Sav is. Sav's going to be having the time of his life with his slipstream. Karabot has one himself too. But it might be getting close into turn 1. It's going to be an overtaking opportunity. There is not. The 3 going as they were through the first sector. Van Rossum a little bit happy probably with that extra added pressure. So currently on their second to last lap. After this, there's one more for the leaders. It's a bit wide from the Ford. We have Sav peeking on the inside. As it will become the outside. Is he going to do the switchback? He's going to hold on the outside line. But Karabot not looking too great. Bit out of shape in the Ferrari of Van Rossum, just pulling away in the middle part of the track. But Karabot holding on to it. Maybe we'll have a little look into turn number 10. Again, no real overtakes besides the first few laps, it seems, on this part of the track. Sav still sticking quite close to his rival. This is the fight for P12. Sav currently 13th. Lindblom a little bit too far behind. Van Rossum has gained some time. It's gone back up to P11. And back into turn 1. Nothing really going on here. We do see some positions change for the P16 fight. As McVeigh makes a nice send on to Line. He's trying to stick his nose in and hold back. And this is for P16, just a little bit further up the order. And this is also an important position. Line going towards the inside, still held it. A small tap to McVeigh. He's going to regret that one. Silverio joining in now as well. So it's going to hold off, not from one driver, but from 2. And Silverio also has his own opponent right behind him, Hageman. Trying to join this fight as well as they're stabilizing a little bit. Like I said, P16 also very important because you'll be right behind the leader and the winner of this race. So you might be able to follow them through a little bit easier through the traffic. So it's all going to be a case of who does what and who goes where. So we're approaching the final lap and the final few corners of the race. We do have our race winner, George Boothby, the #1 car, pole position to the checkered flag. Boothby winning race #1. O'Sullivan grabbing second place. Davante rounding out that podium. And our championship leader in 4th place, Caracas, taking home that position. Minar in 5th. Gaskell still holding on to 6th. And they were as they were. Further down, Humble, Foch, Santama, and Bellic in P10. We've got some time to look at these guys crossing the line. Line in P16, and it's Guida who gets to start from pole position, and Lindblom right alongside him. So we're making a little look towards the grid for race number 2. Here we have it. See if we can have a nice shot in the pit lane for Mr. Boothby. This is as good as we're going to get it. Boothby getting the maximum points in race number 1. Now that that's done, we're going to have a small wait between the race and the second race. We're going to have a few more minutes. We're going to wait until the server goes live. It should be 2 more minutes. So I want to ask for your patience for these next 2 minutes. Grab some water, grab a little snack, and then we should be right back with the broadcast. See you in a bit. So while we are waiting for the server to get back up, we should have the full standings here. And this is the full results for race number 1. As you can see, Boothby out in first place, O'Sullivan second, Delfante finishing out that podium, all quite close to each other, and the gaps only start to open a little bit further back. That's around P7. Humbo about 4 seconds behind the car in front of him. And up to P30, plus 1 lap for Kniva and for Kiesling. These are the points scored as well, outlined on the right-hand side. We did have Haugen here for just a moment, giving us his own page, as was not present in the race. That is plus 12 laps and 0 points. Quick look at the difference in points. That's where we're going to be looking at. Caracas and Boothby getting 560 for Boothby and 518 for Caracas. The difference is 41 points, so that means that at the moment Boothby is leading the championship by exactly 1 point. 1 point is now the difference between Boothby and Caracas, and that is quite interesting to see, because that's what we're going to be looking for, of course, in race number 2. We just saw Caracas in 4th, Boothby in 1st. That means Boothby starts in 15th, and Caracas will start in 12th. That's a small advantage there for our former championship leader, and Boothby is going to have to get past him, but I'm going to bet all my money. I'm not going to actually do it. I would bet all my money that Caracas is not going to make that easy for him. Gonna wait a few more moments for the servers to get back up. Should be done around the hour, but we've been waiting for a few more minutes, so it might just be 5 past the hour. So we're waiting for just a few more moments for the server to be up, and hopefully, with a little bit of luck, the standings will be updated as well, and they are. They're equal on points. That's even more interesting. We have a tie for first place, Boothby and Caracas with 5,810 points. And if you're wondering which one decides what decides if you get P1 or P2, I would not be able to answer that. I think, this is just my guess, that it's on the driver that has the best results, the most wins. And if you have equal wins, it's the most second places. That's at least how it usually goes. I can't say with full certainty that that is how it's going at the moment here on LFM, but I can tell you that Boothby is currently in first place. They're equal points with Caracas. So that's going to be whoever gets the higher finishing position in this 40-minute race. That is the driver to be leading the championship. Of course, there's some more nuance to it. There's some more drivers behind that are technically capable of getting into that top position, like, of course, Gasquel. He's got less points than both of these drivers. He's going to get more than 150 points over both of these drivers in order to get that championship lead. So as it stands, Boothby out in first, will be starting in 15th. Just waiting for the server to get back up. Can take a little while. Usually doesn't last this long. Gonna be checking in with the chat to see if anyone else is currently responding to the race. No one has put in any messages. We'll have some interviews after the race, of course. And we do have one server now up. Is it going to be our server? It most definitely is. Our server is back up, so we're going to be joining this one. And then we should have our second race all ready. If we're sick of looking at standings, I know that I am. Be looking at some better stuff in just a moment. Setting up all the overlays, making sure that everything is right. And here we go. On to the live view of our second race. Gonna hide this one just a little bit. We know that Boothby won. This is the second race. We have about 4 more minutes of practice. No qualifying, of course, as the grid is already set. It takes a little while for the admins to take their to get the grid all set. Oh, whoops. Well, might as well just have a quick look at the prizes. I just misclicked on the broadcasting software. Here are the prizes that we're fighting for. Of course, we saw Boothby and Caracas in first and second place, tied actually for first place. So they'll be looking at these prizes for the Pro Series on the right-hand side, and the other series on LFM, of course, also have their own prizes. As you can see, the GT3 series from SyncMesh also has some good items up for sale. The Go Setups GT3 Sprint series with some subscriptions for the setup. company. Paddock Legends sponsoring the GT4 series, and of course ACC Drive for the Enduro series. That's the one that is going on Sundays. Also broadcast here on Lowfield Motorsport on Twitch. Now back to the action. Not much action going on for now though. Looking at the drivers getting ready for their second race, putting their laps in, making sure that they can get everything that they need. The final setup adjustments before they head on to the race. Gaskell doing those laps, a little bit of a pit entry practice. Some drivers like to do that because there is one mandatory pit stop in this race. You have to do it once in the feature race. The pit window opens about 10 minutes in and it closes about 10 minutes before the end of the race. So you have quite a big window. I'm going to see the drivers jump in around 20 minutes in, halfway through the race. Should have some looks into the lane. Gaskell now practicing a little drive through in this practice session. Going to see where the other drivers are at. We're going to see Gaida, who is in 9th. We'll start from first place in just about 2 minutes time. We will have one more formation lap to go through the order and to show you all the beautiful liveries as well, so you can identify who is who on the grid. To Boothby, getting that win. It's going to be sat in P15, tied on points with Caracas, who will be in 12th place, just a little bit further ahead. Of course, those few positions don't really do too much once you're on the grid. It's about 30 cars, and if you're 3 cars separated, that doesn't mean all too much. Boothby will be on one side, Caracas will be on the other, but our eyes will be out in front towards the drivers that are on their way to maybe their first race victory. Because we've had a few different winners throughout this season already. Caracas has won the opening round of the race with Boothby grabbing the feature race. It's happened again in round number 3, where Caracas and Boothby also took the race 1 and race 2 victories respectively. O'Sullivan and Gaskell taking the sprint race victories for round 2 and 4, and Santama and Caracas taking the wins for the feature race of round 2 and 4. And now Boothby grabbing the sprint victory can only mean one thing, and one thing only. Caracas is out for revenge. He's going to be the one, might be the one to take home that win for the feature. Take home all the points and re-establish the lead of the championship. For now though, final practice closing out. So the final cars finishing up their laps. We should have a few more that are driving. Caracas is still out there. Has done a lap time, the only one to be valid of everyone. There's a waiting time now, so the checkered flag has fallen. He's going to do one more lap. Let's see what he can do as preparation for the race. Because it's one thing to be fighting for position, it's another to be fighting the championship lead. Caracas in 12th, Boothby in 15th. We'll see the grid order completely in a few moments' time, once these drivers have all slotted in and gone back to the pits. We'll see that happen after they finish this lap. Bolschlager, the final driver to do so. I think he has crossed the line maybe shortly after the timer ended, so we should not have to wait for this number 28 McLaren to cross the line. We'll have Alexander, number 19 Audi, to cross the line, and afterwards we'll be starting our qualifying session. There he is into the pits. Practice over. Back in the pit lane. Turns out we do have to wait a little bit longer. Wolschlager into the pits now as well. Oh, there we go. That's all finished and all back up. Grid for race number 2. 40 minutes, as you can see. The time has been reset to just past 7. 29 degrees on the air, 29 degrees on the track. That's the wrong view. And it has not updated just yet, so we're going to have to wait a bit. And it might just update on the final few minutes before we get going. But you can see the starting lineup of the drivers already on the left-hand side of your screen. Gaida in the Ferrari, holding on P1 as he finished in 15th place in race number 1. Lindblom in the Honda, lined up on the outside line for turn 1. And Sav, Karabot, Van Rossum, all fighting for that 15th place. Ended up going a little bit further than that even. So that's always a good view. If we're looking back, you can see P15, Boothby, O'Sullivan right in front of him. Delphante, Caracas, Minar, Gasquel, the 16 of the 6 cars that were 1 through 6 and held on to that for the entire race in the same positions. At some points I thought one was going to overtake the other, but it turns out it was all just teamwork. All to play for now in the back of the grid, of course. Like I said, if you're starting in 15th, you finish the race in 1st, which means that you should be the fastest guy on the track, and you have only slower drivers ahead of you. But it's going to be so marginal, and the top runners are all going to have a little fight, and that's what makes these things a little bit interesting, because of course P15 is not going to be as fast as P1, so that flip is going to make sure that the drivers will have some more competitive fighting in that top 15, and maybe we can even see some surprise victories. So everyone within that top 15 has a realistic chance of getting that victory done. Has this updated yet? No, it surely has not. So that means we're going to wait on this view for just a little bit longer. Keep hoping that when the standings update and the results update, that this grid will also update, but it might just take a little while longer. I might just do the track walk all by myself without the overlay. But I kind of do want to show off all the stats. We did see them already a little bit, so might as well go through it in this way. P1 pole position for Gaida, number 13 Ferrari, lining up alongside Lindblom. In 2nd place, the Honda is going to be leading Sav through the first few turns. He's gone in 3rd. Karabot is holding on to 4th place. Was fighting with this next driver, Van Rossum, was gained a few more places, was 16th, and then jumped up to 15th, and only got further and further ahead after an incident with some cars further behind. Bellic, fortunately enough to stay ahead of this, has got P6. Santama, a race winner at, I believe that was Silverstone in week 2. Currently in P7. Forge in 8th place. Also livery worth showing. Humble in 9th. Saw him have a few looks on Forge, but ultimately not able to get past. Near of the top 6 from the previous race. Gasquel 10th, getting the flashing lights from Caracas behind. But in between those two is Philip Minar. Going to be looking to go up the standings once more. Same goes for Caracas, who's tied with Boothby for P1 in the championship. Going to be looking to maximize everything. Delphante in 13th place, or 3rd place from race number 1. O'Sullivan in 14th. And then the back of the reverse grid, we have Boothby at P15. And after this, we have the regular finishers. We have a line in 16th, just missing out on that reverse grid pole. Now has to follow Boothby's, O'Sullivan, Delphante, and the rest through. Maybe look for some surprise overtakes. McVeigh in the number 22 McLaren. 17th place Silverio. And 18th. Also part of that incident that we had before. Hageman in 19th place. Then we have Ordes in 20th. Looking towards the outside already is Wolfslager in the McLaren. P21. Tepper in P22. He's going to be lining up right alongside Flegg. His teammate, P23, got tapped on the turn 10 exit on lap 1. Got sent to the back. Made up a few places. Also making up a few places. Michael Vrij, 24th on this grid for today. Started from the pit lane. Has recovered quite nicely. Just a few spots. Alexander dropping back quite far. P25 for this race. Hoffman, also part of that incident. Currently in 26th. Kiesling being all the way in the back at the start of the first race as well. Currently 27th. Perez has 28th to his name, the number 17 Aston Martin. Starting on the semi-last row, and in the last row we have Keuselberg, who is on the final spot of the grid. Now, that is the grid. We didn't see the stats, but we saw them on the previous race. We saw the results. We know everything. We should know everything. Now we're up for the start of the race. Formation lap finishing in just a few moments. Going through that final sector, we have Gaida out in first. Lindblom lining up alongside, looking to make a move into turn 1, maybe braking late. Will have the outside line. That, of course, will turn to the inside for turn number 2. So we're going to have a little fight to see who gains that P1 after turn 1. Feature race, 40 minutes starting in just a moment when they cross the line. Gaida leading the track, leading the pack. Lindblom lining right alongside. We are crossing the line. The flag is green, and we are full go at Barcelona for our feature race. Gaida already lost the traction race with Lindblom, who's currently out in first, almost cutting off Gaida instantly as they're heading on to the first turn. A little bit more shuffling in the back as well. They're also 3 wide through the first turn. Is that Santama getting caught in a fight, in a battle in the middle there? He's going to be ending up right alongside this. Van Rossum in 8th. As we are heading on to Sector 2. And Fodge making a big jump there. Out in front, getting past Belic into turn 4. More side-by-side action. More than we've seen into the first race. Fodge now having Belic on his inside back again. Santama looking for something on the outside. But then again leaves himself vulnerable for Van Rossum. Covering that inside off just nicely. Now on the inside of Belic. Trying to follow Fodge through. A little bit wide there. But Belic holding on to that position. That's quite close. Caracas and Minar now fighting as they're heading on to turn number 9. Minar holding on to that position. Caracas still in 12th. Boothby still in 15th. And that's the 2 drivers that we're going to be looking at. Caracas getting the traction into turn 10. Has the inside line. That's Van Rossum going very, very deep. And this is a very tight battle here. A little bit further back. Everyone going almost side by side. Caracas up to 9th place. As we see Van Rossum dropping further and further back. Delfante trying to get past now as well. As we have O'Sullivan side by side. A little tap to Van Rossum, sending him wide. Delfante looking to go through. That was Delfante with the tap. Apologies, and now Van Rossum is side by side with Boothby, who's made it through. That should be position gained for the number 1 car. And Silverio having a look for himself as well. Inside line through turn 1. Usually the one that makes it, braking very, very late for the Aston Martin, but does gain the position. And Van Rossum down to 16th place. That's from 5th all the way down. It's going to be following Boothby through now, and Silverio right ahead of him. He does have Ollie line. He's going to have a little look on the inside. Of course, the faster line through this turn, but you have to make sure that you hold on to the next corner as well. Van Rossum nowhere but dropping back instantly as Keuselberg on the outside line, but will defend from him on the exit of turn number 6. Now that everything has settled a little bit, we can look out in front. O'Sullivan getting past Santama in P11 now. He was dropping back as Del Fonte is also having a little look there into turn 10. Here we have it. Send towards the inside, and that is a move done. Santama being pushed towards the outside as it's a double left-hander. Nothing he can do to fight. Del Fonte going on through. Caracas in the meantime has jumped all the way up to P8. It's overtaken Humble. Is now on his way to fight for P7. That's quite an interesting one as well. Currently on board with Foch, the number 8 car in 5th place. It's got Sav right ahead of him. And he's going to be jumping away. That's an interesting one, all the way to the inside for Sav. And that is position gained for Foch up to 4th place. Same move here for Minar. He's going to be looking towards the inside, but Humble still holding on. And Caracas able to run away from this fight. These guys are all stuck trying to get past the same car. And this is what happens with those reverse grid orders. If you get past, you might have a little easier time. As we just saw Caracas get past Bellic out in front. Solidify that on the exit of turn 4. And now we have a small battle here. Small train from Humble down to Boothby. They're all trying to get past. And Caracas running away with it. Gasquel, Sav, Foch now in a fight. As for P number 3, Carabot holding on to that. As you can see on the bottom of the screen. Turning right now. That is Gaida. As Lindblom has taken the lead of the race. We saw him get some fastest laps in there. A little bit higher pace than what Gaida has been doing. And Sav now under pressure from Gasquel. Pressure worthy of a champion. Foch now trying to get past Carabot. He's made a small mistake on the exit from the looks of it. Sav now having Gasquel quite closely behind him. And Carabot and Foch exchanging positions as well. We do have Sav losing a place. Carabot has got the inside line, but that is Foch on through. Inside line for Gasquel as well. He's all the way past before Sav can reach the apex of turn number 2. So the number 2 car up to P5. A little bit more fighting here from O'Sullivan and Humble. Humble dropping back down the order. He's got Del Fonte on the inside now. Boothby trying to follow on through, but Humble holding on for now. It's going to be the inside line for turn number 5. A small contact from what it appears. And Humble dropping back. That's 14th place. As Santama also goes right on through. Some more places gained. Caracas and Sav still fighting up ahead. 6th place for the number 3 car. And Bellic appears to be the only BMW in a sea of Fords out in front. So that's going to be an interesting one to see. So we have all the Fords all the way to Foch as well. Gasquel now chasing down Carabot right ahead of him. He's got Caracas in his mirrors. Knows that he has to speed up because our championship leader is looking at it a little bit wide there for Carabot. Gasquel having to watch out for that one. And the snake of cars is going to be joining in. I almost said snake of trains. Well, I wanted to say snake of cars and train of cars. Couldn't decide which one sounded nicer. But I like the snake. Everyone's got the same line. Everyone's doing the same thing. Gasquel with the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. Has his car angled towards that point. Goes on through. Caracas deciding to go a little bit opportunistic. And holding to that line as well. Getting through. And that is another place for Caracas too. Sav instantly with the nose in as well as Carabot is just sent towards the outside. doesn't have the space to push further to the inside. Let Sav on through. And Bellic, the next car to look. Let's have a little bit deep though. There might have been a small lock up there. He's dropping back a place. Bellic instantly on the attack. That should be Sav right on through. In the front row seat for this fight is Minar. He's staring against two rear diffusers. Of course, that he really wants to pass because he's just losing time. That's Sav on the left-hand side. Dropping back a tiny bit. Good stuff from Minar. Sav's trying to follow this on through. There he goes on the inside for Sav on the attack. Brakes late. Not late enough. Minar still alongside. Small tap there. Even though it's two left-handers, Sav cannot hold on to it. So it is a little bit easier with these two turns if you hold the inside line, but it's just not going to be enough if you want to fight with Minar. A little bit more terrain going on here. Defante has got Boothby behind him. And he has O'Sullivan right in front of him. It's close. It's real close. See if we can actually get that diffuser in the view. There we go. Has a little shot of the diffuser. O'Sullivan holding on to the inside line. Defante going for a slightly different line. Maybe see if he can get the advantage out of turn 3. It doesn't appear that he does. And he has to slot in. But he is aware that Boothby is right behind him, trying to take that position away. Looking for it. Doesn't quite get it. These are all just lining up behind Sav now. He's got a small gap ahead to Minar. The first quarter of this race is almost done. 5 laps, 5.5 laps. We're approaching the 30-minute mark. The front runners are also getting quite close to a fight here. It appears that Gaida has gone defensive, which means that Foch left himself vulnerable from Gasquel, who just sends it on the inside, gets the position, and is now ahead. Foch is going on through to 4th place. He's got Caracas behind next, who is probably looking for another place here. And like I said, Boothby winning can only mean one thing. That's Caracas on the victory for the next race. And I kind of have to say, I am liking these odds. Gasquel now side by side with Gaida up ahead. Ferrari on the inside, trying to go defensive as he can. We'll have the outside line for the next turn. Doesn't get any traction. And he's got the inside line all the way covered by Foch. Now pushed wide off the track. And Caracas will be looking to gain another place out of this as well. As the number 13 car appears to be dropping back. If Foch can put the pedal to the metal, Caracas can go right on through. And no-no's being held there by the Ferrari. Down to 5th place from pole position. Lindblom has pulled away a tiny bit. He's got quite some good pace in his car. Number 11 currently 2 seconds ahead of Gasquel. He's going to be chasing down the front. Caracas doing the same. He's currently got Foch right ahead of him. See if we can make something happen into turn number 1, turn number 10. Stelfante and Santama have gone in the pits. Gone very early. Of course, they'll be looking to extend for the second stint. Here we have Bellic in a bit of trouble. Fighting with Sav right behind him. No Sullivan and Boothby being held up by this lot. So they want to get past. Sav has his nose on the inside. Bellic very cautious. Leaves the space. It's going to lose him a lot of time to the cars ahead. And there we go. O'Sullivan and Boothby both into the pits. Making sure they don't have to worry about the back markers. Well, they're not really back markers. It's still for position, but they don't have to worry about losing more time. As Minar goes on through and Carabot Now down to 7th place. Caracas is chasing down Fudge and is looking very, very tight here for P number 3. That's the first half of the race not even done. And Caracas has gone from 12th to 4th. He's cleared the slower cars a little bit easier than Boothby has. So he's got the advantage, of course, starting in P12. We'll have a proper look at the podium positions. Somewhere towards the end of this lap, should have a good run into turn 10. Looking on the exits though, Del Fonte currently in 27th. After the stops, Boothby is running again, but Del Fonte appears to be exiting right ahead. There we have them. That is Boothby and O'Sullivan on the exit of the pits. Del Fonte going on through. Stopped just one lap earlier. Del Fonte has made it on through. That's P24. That will be net position ahead of Santama and Boothby. That's always nice and fun to see. Taft now chasing Bellic for 8th position. It's got Humble right behind him. It's got a little gap just over a second and a half. Should have enough space to turn on the attack. Speaking of attack, that's Minar. Kinda having to go towards the inside line as Humble dives into the pit box. Minar not having the traction, not having the cornering to follow Gaida through, but again we see these different lines through turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3 pop up time and time again. A little bit of aero wash from Minar, inside being covered off by Gaida, and that's a small contact into turn 4. Minar being worse off there. Carabot right behind them, flashing a little bit to say I'm not happy about this one, and he's going to try again sometime soon. So you can see as well Bellic and Sav entering the chat. Entering turn 7 and 8 as well. Quite close to each other. Don't think we're going to be seeing too much action on here just now. Alexander in this combination too. Nothing really going on there just yet. Turn 10 send not being done by Minar, holding on behind Gaida. Wants to get past. Simply unable to. There is a Ferrari right in his face. First one of the stoppers. Still Del Fonte in 22nd. Santama stopped. O'Sullivan has stopped. Boothby, Koselberg, Flag and Humble as well. So Humble has dropped down to 28th place. And he appears to be quite a little bit behind the number 20 car in the one position ahead. We have lost one driver. Gaskel is now into the pits. And Minar on the outside. Gaida on the inside line defensive once more into turn 1. This time there's contact. Minar being tapped ever so slightly to the side. A small tap to the rear of Gaida. Puts him back up right. That's Gaida off the track. Minar slowed down. He's got Carabot right behind him. And that is not going to be one happy Ferrari. It's going to be one very sad Ferrari. He gets back onto the track and recovers. Currently down in P13th. Still going slowly. Minar having to defend from the guys behind. Having to hold on to P4. As he's trying to close the gap out in front. So Lindblom still holding on strong. His gap being cut down quite significantly by Caracas. About 9/10 on the previous lap. Gaskel out of the pit lane. So you can see the number 2 just going on to the first turn of the track. All the way on the right hand side of the map. Currently in the first turn of the track. Del Fonte a little bit behind. So Gaskel now the new leaders of the stoppers. So we're approaching the halfway mark of the race. We're getting closer and closer to the massive amounts of pits that we're going to see from, of course, everyone. Because everyone needs to make one full stop. I can show you that on the screen. Should be visible in just a few seconds. The drivers that have and have not stopped. And there you have it. All the way down to P18. Not stopped yet. and from P19 onwards has stopped. And here we have it. Everyone dropping down the order now. They're in the pits. That is Minnaar, Van Rossum, Vrij, Line, Haagman, Wolfslager also into the box. So all the drivers around the halfway mark going to make their first and only mandatory stop. And then we'll see who gets the first place in the end. I feel like Lindblom and Caracas are both doing a little bit of hot lapping. Number 3 car doing it's got a little bit of clean air now that Boothby has not had for a while. He's still stuck in traffic. He's got O'Sullivan right ahead of him. And it's a 3-way battle with Santama at the head. That's for P21. That should be somewhere in the top 10, surely, after all these pits. But it is still traffic nonetheless. Not something that you want to see as you're driving through. And Delphante now putting in the fastest lap. He's got the tires in the right window. He's passing Van Rossum, passing Minnaar. He's currently up to 14th place. 13th is in the hands of Gasquel. First driver out of the stoppers. It is quite close though between O'Sullivan and Santama. This train that I told you about is Santama, Boothby and Minnaar. Now drop back a tiny bit, but Santama on the rear of O'Sullivan. Has been slowed down a tiny bit, and that's Boothby making the descent into turn 4. Daring move, holds on to it. Santama washing wide, and Boothby cutting it off before the switchback is possible. That's up to P16, as Carabot and Caracas are in, and this is the important bit. This is where we're going to have to look, because Boothby and Caracas are locked in for a fight for the championship lead at the end of round 5. We're halfway through the race. Caracas is going for the stop. Boothby has his tires already warmed up, but Caracas will have a few lap newer tires. So they're currently in. Caracas stationary right here. We're going to see Boothby flashing on through, but I feel like we should be looking at Gasquel as well, who's currently leading Delphante. We just saw him disappear the screen there. Going to be seeing him for a moment more. There we go. As Gasquel, Delphante going through now, as Caracas is still stationary. We'll see when he goes. He actually is going already. And we'll see where he ends up. You can see Gasquel coming on through on the straight now. The limiter is off. And the undercut might have worked here. This is going to be very close into the first turn. The corner is Caracas, but it's Delphante that takes... It's Gasquel that takes the position. Delphante a little bit too far behind, but Caracas dropping down to 8th place. Gasquel all the way up to 7th. Everyone ahead of Gasquel still to stop. Lindblom, the only one realistically it's going to be fighting with Gasquel, but if they've been running in this clean air, it might as well just be Gasquel at the helm of the race. And this will be your fight for the championship lead, or your fight for the race lead. And championship lead looks to be in the hands of Caracas quite comfortably, as Boothby is at the moment 3 positions further down, about 4 seconds further down the track. Lindblom in the pits, the number 11 car, making his mandatory pit stop. We're going to see where he ends up after he's left the pit lane. So this fight now, Caracas and Gasquel. The number 2 car with the heated tires. The number 3 car just clean out of the pits. Let's see where these two are going to end up in relation to Lindblom, who is still stationary, should be moving in just a moment. Is moving once again. And we'll see him exit the pit lane. And here we have it. Gasquel. Caracas coming on through. The limiter turning off. And 1 lap earlier stop means the position gained. Lindblom dropping down. That's currently position number 4. As Gasquel, Caracas and Delphante have gone on through. Now he's going to have to chase them down. Make sure he stays ahead of O'Sullivan, ahead of Boothby, ahead of Santama, ahead of Minnaar. They're chasing down the top positions, the top 5 still to stop. That's where the big gaps come from. for P6. Gasquel 33 seconds to the car ahead. You lose a little bit more than that from a singular pit stop. As Fodge is now in, should be right around this battle as well. Bellic, Sav, Kiesling, Hoffman still holding on. They've got 7 more minutes to make their stop. So the window will close. If you haven't made your stop, then you will be disqualified from the race. That's not something anyone is striving for. Minar holding on to 13th. It's going to be P8 once this all clears up. Chasing down Santama for that net position 7. He's got the inside line. Quite a good send. Santama holding on to the outside. But like I said, turn 10 and 11, 2 left-handers. So if you have the inside line for turn 10, it's easier to make it stick. Trust me, I've been on the receiving end of some sends, and it's absolutely ridiculously difficult to hold on to a line if you haven't covered off the inside. We saw it happen a few times already today, but this was not one of them. Minar going on through to P12. Hoffman now in the pits as well. Fodge on the out lap. Has left the pits. There he is, right in front of us. It's going to be right alongside Boothby. That's an interesting one to see. He actually has covered off Boothby. O'Sullivan and Lindblom have gone through, but Boothby is sitting right behind and he's not going to be happy with this one. Caracas looking for a fight to the victory. And his rival stuck in 10th. Currently looking at the number 8 Ford of Fodge. Good friends, but rivals on the track. O'Sullivan just a little bit further ahead. Also looking at Lindblom. The driver that took P1 quite early on is now lost the position as they're going on through 7 and 8. There we have them. Lindblom actually a little bit wide there as he's dropped back a little bit. Let's see if we can find out what happened there. See if we have that replay or not. Oh, that's just the tail end of it. I've clicked the wrong timing number. I was gonna give 30 seconds, but in the end I only got 10, unfortunately. But Lindblom a little bit too wide through turn 7, 8, and then 9. It's now down to 10th place. Boothby. Fodge now chasing down O'Sullivan. He's got a gap of 3 seconds ahead of him to Delfante. Caracas putting in the fastest lap, and this is one that we're going to be watching. This is for the net first place. So Bellic, Sav, and Kiesling are still to stop, and these drivers have already done their mandatory stop. Everyone else is on the mandatory stop besides the first 3, and they have to do so within the next 2-3 laps. So only have just over 4 minutes left to do so. Saw a little nudge towards the inside. Maybe Caracas thinking he could go for a send if he just lets off the brakes, but it's just too far away for now. Has to make do with second place. Bellic and Sav are in. Going in for their mandatory stop. The number 31 car is currently going through the final sector through the chicanes. Going to see if he's going to make his stop as well. That would revert everyone back to their real positions, their net positions. And Kiesling does go in. So that means that once we are past the pit lane exit, we will have everyone on their correct positions, as everyone will have made their stop. And then we can finally see where everyone else will be ending up. For now though, 13 minutes left in this race. And all to play for. Caracas fighting Gasquel for the victory. It's looking quite close here on the exit of the final corner. Onto the start-finish straight. Slipstream in the hands of Caracas. It's a fast car, that Ford. Is it going to be anything into the first turn? Small look there. But going back into the slipstream is Caracas. Fastest lap in his hands. Closing in to Gasquel ever so slightly. The Savs ended up in P10, Bellic in 11th. Kiesling still in the pit exit. It's going to be dropping back to P23rd, P24th at the moment. As Humboldt is chasing him down. Currently in a little bit of a fight. Kind of want to look at some cars further back, but I think that this battle is quite interesting as well. Not sure if anything is going to happen this time around for turn 10. We saw it happen quite a few times before. Driver holding on to the inside line and holding on to the position or getting the position. And that's a small send. That's a big send into turn 10. That's Caracas giving it everything. Gaskell holding on to the outside, going off the track a tiny bit. Now knows that he's got the inside for turn number 12. And they're still side by side. So going through this final sector. And that's a small tap. That's onto the sand for Caracas. That's attack over. And that is very close fighting. They're pushing very, very hard. And Del Fonte has caught up now. And we'll be having a little look at that victory in 10 minutes time. Don't think it's going to be close enough though to do anything. Another small look for Caracas, perhaps into the first turn, stalling behind. Deciding against it, not going for it. The longer he waits, the closer Del Fonte might get. Lindblom dropping down one more place to 8th. Minar jumps up to 7th place. And Caracas really, really fighting for it. And Gaskell being put under pressure, having to give it everything to hold on. Here's the fight for P10. Bellic just ahead. Sav and Karabot trying to make their way through. But also under pressure now. Inside being taken by Bellic. Knows better than to leave a door open. Now Karabot on the rear of Sav. Getting quite close now as they're heading on towards the end of the second sector onto turn number 10. The one where we saw the almost overtake from Caracas. Was a little bit too far away in the mirror. You can see Van Rossum going a little bit too wide there. And that is Kreuzelberg right alongside. Looking for a move, but just a little bit out of shape through turn 11. Doesn't have the space to do anything. Stalling behind in P14. Nothing too dangerous just yet. And Caracas still following through quite closely. Behind that we see O'Sullivan, Fodge and Boothby. Boothby now in 6th place. Knows that he needs to be ahead of Caracas to be able to give himself the lead of the championship. He's got a few seconds to make up for. A little bit more than he would have liked. He's currently stuck behind 2 drivers that he really, really wants to pass. The same goes for Caracas, who's got not a multiple, but only 1 driver to go. 2nd place in the hands of the number 3 car. And our champion from last year, Sam Gaskell, currently looking at the victory, staring it right in the eyes. Just being held back by Caracas in his mirror. Gaskell only winning 1 race so far this season. It's a sprint race. That's Caracas towards the inside once again, trying to make it the same move. Pushing Gaskell a little bit wide. He's off the track. Holding on to the inside line still is Caracas. Another inside line for Gaskell. Once again, same formation, same outcome. A little bit less pushing this time around, but now Caracas is being left open on the inside. Del Fonte almost having a little look. But still going out as they were, and they're absolutely nose to tail right now through the final section of the track. Going on to the start and finish straight, I'm going to go on board with Del Fonte. He's got a first front row seat to this battle. He's joining in it as well. Now Caracas having the look. Doesn't go for it. Fonte has to slot in. Probably had different plans. The distance to the car ahead just a bit too small to be able to do anything. So the top three still fighting for the win. O'Sullivan about 3 seconds back. Boothby, in the meantime, has gotten past Foch. 5th place for the #1 car. Right now, we can see him in the background. Just there, the sandwich of cars. It's in the middle of that. O'Sullivan is chasing this because they're battling out in front. And that just means that you're losing time, more and more time lost every single time you attempt an overtake into turn 10. Let's see if Caracas is going to try the same thing once more. Because he knows that there's an opportunity. Just doesn't go for it quite yet. Do we have Boothby looking for one? He doesn't. Sticks behind. Chasing down Del Fonte as a group might just be easier. So he's settling down behind O'Sullivan. 6 minutes to go. It's about 4 laps that we still have left. After that, we're ready to crown our winner, but not before we have one spectacular battle for the win here. Caracas still behind Gaskell, who's holding on to the race lead with nothing more but his fingertips. Caracas ready to drag him down and take that for himself. Looking towards the inside, but again braking a bit earlier. Doesn't go for it quite yet. Knows that turn 1 is quite difficult to overtake. Need to be alongside for turn 2. Around the outside in order to hold it for turn 3. So it is quite difficult. But Gaskell making a small mistake, going a bit wide through turn 3. And finishing this sector with Caracas just as close as he was at the end of this first straight. The time is running out. He knows he's got to make a move. But is he going to get desperate or not? That's the question. Because that's what happens sometimes with these drivers, that they're getting so desperate, so impatient. They know they have to get past. They know they have to do something. And they might start making some mistakes. Caracas, not the type to do that though. Doesn't have a look for this turn. Same goes for the guys a little bit further back. Doesn't have the room to do anything. Carabot still behind Sav as well in P12. Same reasoning. Doesn't go for the overtake just yet. As you can see in the standings, the top 7 all gaining a lot of places. From 8th down to 13th, losing a lot of places. Gaida all the way down in 19th from that pole position. Nothing just yet from the front runners. Will it be this time though? He's closer than he's ever been from the looks of it. A small look there from Caracas. And that is quite mighty close. 0.02 of a second separate the two in terms of lap time on the previous lap. 3 more laps and then we'll have the winner. No matter what happens between these drivers, we will have a winner. If it's not one of these two, we'll have someone else behind to pick up the scraps, pick up the pieces, because that's something you don't want to do now. Bet everything of everything and lose it all just because you're so damn willing to take that P1. So close to getting it and making those mistakes. And I can see it happen already in turn 1. You can almost have that little send a bit too far. And Caracas now looking for that slipstream, looking to hold on to the arrow of Sam Gaskell ahead. But still a little bit too far once more to make it. No, Sullivan isn't chasing these guys either. The lap times are quite similar, 43.6. So it's all in the hands of Caracas now. He is, as it stands, our championship leader. There should not be anything done to that. But he might want to extend his lead a tiny bit by taking that victory. Because he knows that Boothby behind. You can probably see it on the on the relative that Boothby is in P5 and fighting O'Sullivan. And Gaskell, being his teammate, obviously getting ordered to hold down the fort. And why wouldn't you? If you're currently leading the race, I would also hold down the fort, trying to keep it as tight as possible, making sure that you still get that victory in the end. This 4-car train now: O'Sullivan, Boothby, Fort, Minar, 4th all the way through 7th. A little bit wide there from O'Sullivan. Like I said, hasn't been chasing the cars ahead, and has been trying. Doesn't have the lap time to show for it. And still 3 seconds between P3 and P4. Bellic now past Santama. That's for P9. The top 10 still having some movement. We just saw Carcass having a small look. Same for Fudge. Just having a little look, see what the space is like, if there is any at all. But no swaps for position. 1 more minute in the final lap, being started by Sam Gaskell, and this is what we're going to be looking at. It's going to be the fight for the lead, the fight for 4th place. Delphante is still in it, currently in 3rd, holding down that final podium place. But it's these two that are going to make it happen. Sam Gaskell in 1st place and Grantas Caracas in 2nd. It's a 1v1 for the victory. Delphante has got the seats. Gaskell a bit too far into the 1st turn for Caracas to do anything. Turn 2 and 3. A little bit wide once more for Gaskell. Caracas having the advantage seemingly, looking towards the inside, but don't think there's anything you can do in turn number 4. And this is a close follow. He's going to be looking at the diffuser. Caracas forcing Gaskell to go towards the inside. Does defend it quite nicely by washing out wide, blocking off anything that the number 3 Ford can do. You can hear more of the engines in the background. That 4-car train from O'Sullivan down to Minar, also fighting for the places. And this is the one opportunity that he has. Caracas has to make it happen here. Is he going to send it? He's not. That's a small move there towards the middle of the track on braking for Gaskell. That's the move that's going to allow him to keep this position into turn 12, on to 13, 14, 15, and then eventually the final turn 16. And there's nothing Caracas can do besides pray for a mistake from Gaskell in these final corners. But of course he does not do that. Our champion is going to be rounding that final corner and taking the win of the 40-minute race here in Barcelona, taking the maximum amount of points for this feature race. In Caracas, 2nd place. Delphante rounding up that podium. Boothby coming in 5th. And that means that Caracas is your new championship leader, or still holding on to the championship lead after it being oh so tight after race number 1. So Gaskell, very happy with this one, as he should be. These are the caps with which he finished. Not a whole lot of time between him and Caracas in 2nd place, but Gaskell taking that victory. Gonna see if we can have a few little interviews. See who's gonna be in the waiting room. Gonna maybe have a little chat with Gaskell, with Caracas, with Delphante, with Boothby, of course, after winning that first race. Gonna see who will be waiting, if we have interviews at all, because usually they take a little moment to get in. Let's see if we have the results from the race already on, or if this is from race number 1 still. Nope, these are the results for this race, the 40-minute race that we just finished. Gaskel out in first, Caracas in second, Delfante in third place. And the position changes, of course, don't really line up too much. The drivers, of course, having to wait a little bit longer for them to join the waiting room. They should be here any minute now. Interesting event. Good racing. Some good overtakes being thrown out. Some rough battles as well. They're quite close for the win. Caracas, of course, are looking to gain the most out of that. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a quick look at the schedule for the rest of the season while we wait for the drivers to join the waiting room. Next week out, we have the Red Bull Ring. Austria, of course, a beautiful track. After that, we got Monza, followed by Imola, Kyalami, Bathurst, Suzuka, and then the final event, the Nordschleife. It's going to be a 90-minute race, so be careful not to miss that one. It's going to be 1.5 hours of straight racing. I'll be present at Imola, Kyalami, and then, of course, the season finale at the Nordschleife. So we're going to have some fun times with that one. In the meantime, Gaskel has joined the booth, so we're going to have a little talk with our feature race leader. Gaskel, welcome.
Hello.
That was quite an interesting one, the final little bit. I saw some contact with Caracas a few laps before the finish. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I was definitely overfueled by quite a bit, that's for sure, and being overcut like crazy, I think it was like 2 or 3 laps Grantas overcut me by, definitely didn't help, but yeah, solid defense, did well under pressure. I mean, Grantas was miles quicker, so it was just tough in general, but I think it was just a bit of hard racing. There are a few cents from him that, obviously were slightly ambitious, but that's what you got to do when you got to win, especially when you're so much quicker. But yeah, overall, it's a good race.
Yeah, you held out pretty well out in front. It was good racing, like I said as well. It's just, I mean, like you said, it's the ambitiousness. I said on the broadcast as well. Sometimes it was a little bit too far, but you held your ground well. Good pace. So yeah, congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
All right, then we have Caracas in second place that we're gonna drag in. Grantas, welcome.
Hello.
From your view, it's second place. Is that a victory or is it disappointment?
I mean, you always wish for a P1, especially when you know that you were faster than the driver in P1. But I mean, again, in race 2, get a podium once again from P12, like, is amazing. You know, you don't really expect those things to happen because you never know what can happen at the start and overtaking some slower drivers. So yeah, I mean, considering everything, I mean, still P2 is very good. Obviously, I wish P1, but just couldn't get it done this time.
And just a quick question: did you check the standings at all in between the races?
Nah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just tell you because I did check them because I knew there was a 41-point gap, and after race 1, you and Boothby were tied for the lead of the championship. You were absolutely dead even on the points. So I was just jumping between you two, seeing if he could catch you. He got P4 in the end, so that means that you are indeed continuing to be the championship leader. So yeah, P2 from 12th, of course. That's a very good job. So congrats on the podium, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, and that was number 2 finisher, Caracas, and now we have Delfante in third. Gonna drag him in. Eric, welcome.
Good evening.
P3, happy, sad, close to being P2, close to being P1. It's all within a second. So what's the final thoughts?
Yeah, P3 in both races with the same gap from P2 and P1. So yeah, generally happy because the pace was there. I think like 4 of us in qualifying. In qualifying, we can do the pole with the perfect lap or a very good one. And yeah, also in the race we had the same pace. I think I had a little bit unlucky at the end of the first lap because I was following Grantas, and then I had a little contact with Felipe, and I lost like 1 or 2 places. Maybe with that I can do a little bit better, but overall happy.
Yeah,
In the end, I didn't add the tires because I was the first one who pit, also with new tire. But yeah, Sam had like 4 laps less, and Grantas like 6, something like that. So I didn't add the tires to try something. I was hoping for something to happen.
Yeah, so you stopped a few laps earlier. You stopped like as soon as the pit window opened. Was that on purpose? Did you underfuel or what happened?
The strategy was to do 20 minutes and 20 minutes, but I had a lot of traffic, like the guys in front, so I decided to do an undercut. This time I changed tires, not like the the first races, and I think it was the right call. I overtook Shy on with the strategy, and then yeah, other guys that were in front of me at the start.
Yeah, and you're looking very good in the standings as well. I think you've climbed up to P4 as it stands. So what's your view going into the Red Bull Ring next week?
I think in this race we did like 4 of us, we did the same point, so like very close. And yeah, I think the Red Bull Ring is a good track for me. Barcelona was also a good track for me generally, so we will see. I hope to be fast like this week.
Yeah, and then congratulations once more on that P3, and hopefully we'll see you again in one of the next races.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
All right, so that is it for the interviews. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. If you want to race yourself, you can go to lowfuelmotorsport.com. You can sign up yourself as a driver. Maybe we'll see you in the Pro Series in Split 1 sometime in the future. Endurance races are on the Sundays. We've got a big event quite regularly, actually. 24 Hours of Spa recently. We're going to have some more, obviously, in the future. So if you want to join those, go on to lowfuelmotorsport.com to sign right up. Follow the Twitch channel and the YouTube, of course, in order to not miss any of the broadcasts. We're going to have Sunday once more for a endurance race as well. And yeah, if you want to see more of me, you can find me everywhere on @VopsRacing. I'll do some more commentary, some more other stuff coming soon as well. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in one of the next ones, and have a good evening.